Okay, so another project presentation with Essa Safdar, and I think Essa is presenting a project that he completed after his Python level 1, right?
Yes, yes. So,
Okay, let's take a look at it. I think it would be great to have a demonstration first, and then we
oh,
can dive deeper into what it does and how does it work.
okay. So this is the code mostly, and how it works is you write the name of the city that you want the forecast of, and it shows it in this way. It
Okay.
shows the weather forecast for 3 days, like today is Wednesday, Thursday, and
Mm-hmm.
Friday, and Monday, noon, evening, and night. So divided into 4 parts.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think this is the forecast of Lahore.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll run it once again so that you can see it how it actually begins. Uh,
Yeah, would better to
yeah,
clean up the console first and
yeah.
then.
Okay. So, hello, welcome to Weather Forecast. My name is WFA, and I'm designed to provide you with the estimated weather report of the upcoming day. Simply enter the name of the city you want the weather report so and press play.
Mhm.
Now we'll add the name of a city that, like, for example, let's add the name of Lahore.
That would be most relevant. Of course, we can verify it
Yeah.
with some other things as well.
Yes. After a few seconds, it shows the weather forecast for the next 3 days. And
Okay.
now, including like the current weather forecast, which according to it is 64 Fahrenheit.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't show it in Celsius, but actually in Fahrenheit. And also
Uh-huh.
like for example right now according to its misty weather, and in the morning it was
Uh-huh.
partly cloudy, and in the noon it was partly cloudy, and in the evening it was like mostly cloudy. So we
Okay.
can of
And
course verify this.
it's saying that it's gonna rain tonight. Patchy
Yeah.
rain.
Oh yes,
There
yes.
was a
The
prediction
best
on
thing.
the Google app as well that I saw today that it was gonna rain at 12
Yes.
noon, but it didn't rain at 12, but maybe it will rain tonight. So
Yeah. Probably.
I mean it's pretty much like aligned with what the actual weather is, but then again there are so many things to consider with any sort of weather forecast.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I mean it
Of course,
can
it
go.
can't be 100% correct, but it is mostly, I believe.
Hmm. Hmm. So how is it actually calculate? How is it gathering the data of the weather forecast,
Okay.
and how is it
Now,
presenting it over here in this format?
now let's take a look at the code.
Mm-hmm.
So the main thing that this project relies on is request. It's a special
Okay.
kind of library that can be found online, and it
Okay.
uses the URL of a particular website to get particular information from it. Now, of course, this is like the opening "Hello, my welcome to the weather forecast." This is what it prints when you press run. And now the actual code begins after from city name.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once you write this name of the city, it will save it in the variable of city name,
Mm-hmm.
and which will then be added to the URL. I
Okay.
added the URL of the website called WWDR. It's a specific website. It's a special website made just for coding, and it gives you
Uh-huh.
the weather forecast of any city or country. Depends.
Okay.
But you can only use it in code. So it's like a website made only for weather forecast machines or only for coding.
Okay.
Yeah. I wrote half the URL of this website and then left some space in between the brackets.
Uh-huh.
Now, when you write the name of the city will go inside these brackets, and the URL will be searched up in the search bar or the server browser, because of which then it will find the particular weather forecast of that city.
Mm-hmm.
So it uses things like get, which gets the URL, and then I change the variable multiple times, and then in case the website doesn't isn't working, in case the website
Mm-hmm.
isn't working due to some reasons, or it's glitching, then it says that it is an error and the
Hmm.
website won't work.
Hmm.
Like error
If
occurs,
the
the website servers on each other.
if the data request obviously does not get us anything, then we need to
Yeah.
have that thing in place as well, obviously. Okay. All right. Pretty good. And this is very much like something that we get started with in our Python level 2 course. In Python level 2, we start to read the data from a file. And then we also have to figure out what was the format the data was in a file, whether it was a CSV, whether it was a text file, whether it was something else. And then we have to, like create a map according to it. We usually do it with a text file because then we already know what the format will be, and then we can create a map around it so that we can get like an easier start. And this is also the a similar thing, like data is getting read from request.get URL. It's just that it is reading from a web server that's providing data in the format of the weather forecast that it generates. So it also maybe like already has that entire format in it. Um, the format that we see that showed the rain icons as well, and the visuals
Yeah,
related to the mist and
that
everything.
format is actually embedded inside the website, and the only way to get it is using generate report
Mhm.
command. But the format is actually inside the website. You just have to
Mhm,
use the
mhm,
generate report
mhm.
command.
Hmm. Now, of course, one needs to have this understanding how to create a function, what is a variable, and how it can store the relevant information for you so that you can then attach it to the URL. And that also requires knowledge of data types, that which sort of information can be attached with some other sort of information, like a string can be attached to a string. An integer would have to be converted in some other way, and then of course try and accept is also a really important programming concept over here.
Yes.
What was the initial thought like? What did you want? Did you want to create exactly something like this, or was the initial thought
Mm,
something else?
Not exactly something like this. The
Mm-hmm.
thing I was going for was something related to weather of our country, like mostly like Lahore, Punjab, and just around the local places, not exactly international any cities or countries. I was hoping to
Okay.
go, to somehow portray the weathers and seasons that we have in Pakistan through a piece of like a short game or something. But then once I started like researching, especially in websites like W3 Schools, which was very useful while I was making this code,
Yes.
and furthermore, on YouTube, when I searched on data types and libraries, especially when I was researching on libraries, I found this
Mm-hmm.
request library. And furthermore, when researched more about projects related to weather that can be made on Python, I got the idea for
Mm-hmm.
a weather forecast machine. And though at first
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like it would be very hard or complicated, but then
Mm-hmm.
if we use libraries, it
Mm-hmm.
gets much more simplified and
Mm-hmm.
easy to make.
Hmm.
Then
This
I
is like
worked
this
with it.
is a really important concept in creating a software where you have to like fetch data from some other locations. If like if the data is on a server, and then you need to bring it onto the app so that you can show it to the user. So it's something like this that is used here. And I see that you've made it on Replit, even though we work on processing as well, and we can obviously write code in any sort of code editor. But yeah, Replit can allow you to have it shared with somebody else as well. I remember like I have it shared on my account, because then I have shown it to a couple of students as well, because this was a really good example of what you can make as a final project. And similarly, maybe others can also take a look at your username. So maybe they can search for your project. So if you can maybe go over to your user profile on the top right area, and your
Yes.
username is Essa Safdar, yes. And
Yeah,
on
just
your profile, maybe if it's a public project like on Scratch, we have a lot of
yeah, it
public
is a public
projects.
project.
Yeah. So then they'll be able to
Yeah,
learn
it is a
something
public
from over
project.
here as well. And then there are other
Yes.
people who are coding on Replit, and you can possibly take a look at their projects. And
Yeah, I think I chose Replit to code on was because processing doesn't actually have a way of outputting data as Replit does. Because
hmm,
processing has more of a like a but it's better to make games on, not exactly to make machines or artificial intelligence on. Like I
hmm,
wanted to make something that can output data in a more brief way,
hmm. On
which wasn't
processing,
actually
we covered a lot
possible.
more on how to create visuals, because that was
Yes,
where its strengths lie. Processing is used by artists and designers and educators to create visual arts. That because that can be done easier on that. But
yes,
since Python does work on processing, there must be a way that we could import some library over there and get the same results over there too. But since this shows the results on the console, not as a
yes.
visual on the, yes, that was the key difference. Yes,
Yes,
the
exactly.
whole output
But this is
shows. Yeah, it is based on text. It's not based on any shapes like we create in. Of course, there is text here that's creating the illusion of certain boxes and columns, but it's not created the same way as it is in Replit. You would have to modify your entire program to first create rectangles and then another rectangle inside a rectangle, and then have it give it a proper layout with the different X positions for like different sections of the day, and different Y
Yes,
positions for like the type of weather and its temperature, and then
and
the
then also
airspeed.
probably have to declare all these sun clouds.
Yeah.
They wouldn't actually be as
Hmm.
defined as these
Hmm. But it's so, I mean, it's not, if it's not needed and this gets the job done, then this is where you should have your program, and this is a wonderfully executed program. So yeah, that's, I think we're gonna wrap up this session. And yeah, if anything new comes up, like any other like competitions where you can showcase your coding skill, then I'll definitely let you know about that on your Google chat.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll probably see you again for another STEM podcast recording as well.
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Allah Hafiz.
Tell